call the regular meeting of the Charter Township of Garfield Town Board to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ann, would you like to take a roll, please?
Sure. Augustinelli?
Here.
Schmuckel?
Here.
Acumber?
Here.
Lapp?
Here.
McManus?
Here.
And Joe McManus.
Here, I was going to say, I wonder how you're going to do that. But, all right. First item on our agenda is public comment. So we do have public comment at the beginning and at the end of our meetings. I don't see any public hearings, I don't think, today on the agenda. So at this point, we'll open up public comment. If you have anything you'd like to say to the board, feel free to step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and let us know what you have to say.
They're all running.
Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm Kelly Fisher, 807 Alhambra Drive, 49696. I just want to introduce myself. I have thrown my hat in the ring for the vacant trustee spot, and Chris has all my information. I would really like to serve. My father served, my brother served. I'd like to do that too at this stage of my life, so I hope that I have your consideration. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. And I don't see anybody else running to the microphone, so we will go ahead and close public hearing and move on to review and approval of the agenda. And now would be the time, if you have any conflicts of interest on today's agenda, now would be the time to state those.
I don't have a conflict, but I would like to add something.
Okay.
Under new business, B, the extension for the planning committee of Molly and Gustinelli till December 31st.
Okay. The Planning Commission. All right.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the agenda as amended, adding item B under new business 8. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Do we do roll calls or not?
Only if it's money here.
Huh?
If it's money.
Only if it's money. Okay. My first day on the job, too. So, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Minutes, November 12th, 2024, regular meeting, recommend approval. General Fund, $441,704.28, recommend approval. Highlighted list of board appointments with vacating or expiring positions, receive and file. Consideration of Resolution 2024-31-T to amend the budget by funding the Township Manager Cost Center, recommend approval. Consideration of Britain expansion, water main relocation, closeout, and turnover documents. Recommend approval. Consideration of contractor's application for payment number 4 from Elmer's for the Stone Ridge PRV. Recommend approval. And consideration of contractor's application for final payment from Elmer's for the Stone Ridge PRV. Recommend approval.
Okay. Is there any items that anybody on the board would like to have removed from the consent calendar and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Anything staff would like to have removed or placed elsewhere on the agenda? Any item of the public like anything removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to adopt the consent calendar as presented. This will be a roll call, right? So, Ann, will you take a roll call, please?
Augustinelli?
Yes.
Schmuckel?
Yes.
Lapp?
Yes.
McCumber?
Yes.
Laney McManus,
Yes.
Joe McManus.
Yes. We'll have to figure that one out. We'll work on that one, Ann. So, okay, so we'll move on to correspondence. Item A, letter from Chris Barchef declining to take the elected trustee position on the town board. So I
Do
believe
we
that
have
was-
to have that in a motion? We have to accept it?
I don't believe so. Karen and I discussed that. It's just to notify you. So I don't think you have to accept it. It's just to notify you that I don't want to take the office, and then that triggers the 45-day replacement window.
Okay.
That's what I believe would be the correct way, and that's why we handled it this way.
Are you
I feel
sure?
like we should, just to be safe, because
I would make a motion to accept the letter from Chris Barchef declining the position of the trustee,
Support.
Okay,
just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
I think it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all.
okay. So a motion was made and supported to accept the letter from Chris Barchef declining the elected position of trustee. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so the next item is a correspondence from myself, and just put on your desk tonight. I apologize, I got to them late. And this one is basically me consenting to the delegation of duties, some of the statutory duties of the supervisor's position to Chris. Now, the only ad lib, I guess, was at the end of that. I'm assuming based on the correspondence, or the communication I had with Chris, you know, the board had a resolution creating the positions, but it sounds like each supervisor, as they would come in, would need to delegate. As they get elected supervisor, those are automatically their duties, so they probably need to delegate those each time an election takes place. So that's why the delegation is only till the end of my current term as supervisor, if that makes sense. Does that sound right, Chris?
Yep.
I don't know if you need to vote on that one, but it'd be,
Just information.
Yep, just information, I think, on that one. Wouldn't you think?
you do or don't need a motion, you think?
I'm not sure on that one either. Do you know?
The attorney felt like this was icing on the cake for the process, just being extra thorough, and just have it on file in the clerk's office.
Okay.
So,
And I gave Laney the originals of both letters that I signed, so. Okay. And then there's an MTA new officials training brochure, so. Is the next correspondence.
So if anybody wants to go to this, the township does pay for you to go, and your room and board. Two pretty good classes.
Okay.
Good idea.
And your mileage to get there.
And the mileage.
There was one. Flips it back.
Okay. All right. I guess I probably, maybe I'm a little bit remiss, a little late now, but obviously for those around, we have a new trustee, Lori Lapp, is on the board. This is her first meeting, and even though I spent a lot of time behind this podium, it's the first time in this particular spot, so I'm my first meeting as supervisor. So welcome, Lori, to the board.
And our
So-
first meeting with our manager.
And obviously Chris is,
welcome everybody, I guess.
doesn't get to vote anymore, but he's still a very integral part of the township moving forward, so. Some new changes in Garfield, we're kind of redefining things as we go, so. So next on the agenda is reports, so we'll start off with our county commissioners report.
Hi, everyone. Lauren Flynn, District 2 County Commissioner. First of all, this is our first meeting since the election, so congratulations to everyone for winning your election, and looking forward to working with all of you for the next 4 years. We had a county meeting on Wednesday. We approved 7 2% grant apps from the Grand Traverse Band, which was probably the most I've seen on one of our agendas at one time, but it was benefiting Parks and Rec, emergency management, the sheriff's department, and veterans affairs, and I think facilities management as well, so that was great to see. But speaking of veterans affairs, their committee approved upping, they've been donating $6,000 a month to United We Smile, which is a program by United Way that's been helping veterans with dental work, very severe rebuilding jaws to just getting their teeth healthy, and that's been very successful. And they have decided, just because it was a brand-new program, they started off at 6,000, but they have now doubled it. So the BOC approved that for 12,000 a month for that program. So what United Way does is close down their dental clinic on Fridays, and that's only for veterans on that day, but they have been realizing that they might be having to slip some in on other days too, but that is there for veterans. We received an update on Project Alpha, which Project Alpha is the building the new emergency management building with 911 dispatch in a storage building. They have we approved hiring Monument Engineering Group to do the engineering part of that work, so it's moving forward very well, and it seems like we're getting really great updates, so I'm really happy with the process there. We had one of the best presentations, at least put together presentations I've ever seen presented at the Board of Commissions by Northwest Michigan Supportive Housing. One of the very few presentations I went through that didn't give me more questions to ask at the end, and answered pretty much every question a lot of us had. But we did approve, they asked for $150,000 for 2 years. We had $250 left unallocated in our cannabis dollars, so we approved $125,000 for 2 years to help them and support their rental assistance program to help move folks unhoused from the Pines or elsewhere into supportive housing throughout the whole county. We sent letters out in October to our ARPA money recipients to ensure all dollars are going to be spent and allocated and all set. We did receive 2 letters back. One was from Garfield Township, so I'm sure you're all aware of that. But we did approve to reallocate that money to benefit the balance or go towards the remaining balance of the Francisco sewer project. So I'm glad that went through. Septic ordinance is still being discussed. We don't know what the state is doing, but we do want to make sure if the state is going to make a decision about that, the county can be ahead of that so that we're kind of grandfathered in and have a little more time to get our processes in order, depending on what the state plans. The ad hoc is still working on that, so hopefully that will be done probably by the end of the year, if not early January. And then we received a presentation on the budget. We have not approved our final budget. Admin has brought us back a few more items, so we're reviewing that, and we'll have that in the next couple meetings all set to go. And that's all I have tonight.
Question for you. On the septic,
Yeah.
are they talking point of sale septic inspections, or is everybody going to have a septic inspection?
They're talking point of sale, time of transfer, there's a little difference there, or also starting off with proximity to water, starting there. So they're kind of all over the board at this moment in time, but we know that Long Lake Township has a successful one, so I know they have been reading that and looking at that.
I
so.
think theirs is a point of sale.
Yeah, there is a point of sale.
And that gives you time.
Mm-hmm.
You get the contract, that gives you time to get the inspections done before you close.
Yep. Yeah, so there's going to be something. We're the last state that doesn't even have one out of all 50. So you know it's coming, and we just need to be able to be ahead of it so we can have a little more time to get ready.
Good.
As always, you can find my contact information on the county website.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. All right. Item 6B is the Township Manager's Report. First one.
Never did this before, so.
We're going to grade you at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I think with a new position and the new board seated, I think it's important that I meet with you guys to figure out what is important for you to know at these meetings. So that'll be my plan over the course of, the next 3-4 weeks. Find time that works for you, and then I can meet your expectations. So I think it'll get better as we go on, and I think I should do the report. Maybe I can't remember Chuck doing 2 reports in a month. It seemed like he did one, and then I'll be part of a lot of things that may be related to the agenda. So I'll have conversations regarding that stuff. I guess it's up to you. How much do you want to know? And maybe I'll have to split it between 2 meetings, but that will be figured out as we move forward.
I would like to know what's going on. We seem to be,
Every meeting would be good.
every meeting would be fine, because sometimes when you get something you heard on the streets about something that's going on in Garfield Township, and you know nothing about it as a trustee, it's like the deer in the headlights look. So I would prefer the more information that we get to know what's going on.
Okay. So I've been in this position for 3.5 weeks. I think it's my 4th week. So I'm just learning a lot, trying to absorb as much as I can, taking care of, day-to-day matters that come up. Some things that I've started off right away is coordinating meetings with MDOT, the road commission, so we can collaborate on projects or at least know what they're doing. This came up with the street lights, or the traffic signals. I would let you, we would know these like maybe a year in advance of what they're doing, so we could better plan that way. We're meeting with the road commission about Frankie Road and the issues that they're having at TCAPS with the new Montessori school. You've got people parking in Myers parking lot, dropping off their kids who run across the road, creating a dangerous situation. So we're meeting with TCAPS and the road commission to try to solve that problem. We met with a developer who had an interest in following the brownfield plan dollars, or trying to get brownfield dollars for their development. And, when John Syke and I were talking with that individual, we felt like this might be a new trend. Me as a board member, I don't know a whole lot about that. So my initial thought was to bring somebody in from the county to educate us all. So as we continue to see these, you'll actually be knowledgeable about it when you make a decision to approve this. This kind of came up with the pilots. How many do we allow? And do we have a policy? So this is something that I want to work towards educating you and coming up with maybe a standard, so that way we're not willy-nilly approving them. Kind of have some protocols or things that we consider. So that was a recent conversation we had, and then just so you're aware, back in June, we had the Lamar Sign Company approach us or apply to put a billboard up near the old Beta facility. And so our planning department and zoning department, as they do a lot, is have conversations with the applicants because they want to clarify information in the application or it's not complete. So in this case, they were doing that with the representative of Lamar, and the representative inquired as to who our county or our township attorney was, and they wanted to talk directly with that individual. So that was roughly 3 weeks after the initial application. So the Lamar was not denied. Both zoning and planning just wanted to have conversation, and then that went directly to, we'd like to speak with your attorney. So on the 3rd week in July, we were named as a defendant in a lawsuit with Lamar being the plaintiff.
And it wasn't denied yet.
It was not, and I want you to know that our departments, I felt were, doing their part and getting information to review the application and following the normal procedure. So they alleged violations of their First and 14th Amendment rights. So that was the allegations, and then we responded to the allegations and provided answers through our attorney for the lawsuit, because we had a certain amount of time we had to do that. And then right now, we're working through a settlement, or I am working with our planning director and zoning administrator, a settlement through our attorney. And then we expect at some point that settlement will come back in the way of a formal agreement that you will have to approve. And I don't know the time frame of that. This is something fairly new for me to wade through, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. And also, I did some research and found out that this is not uncommon. I found other communities in southern Michigan going back 20 years where very similar allegations were made, where they felt like their First Amendment rights to free speech were violated because zoning was restricted on like the size of the billboard. They were restricting the message that they wanted to put out.
I have a question on that. So if our zoning or ordinances say that we are allowed 22 billboards in Garfield Township, they want to put the 23rd one up. But they automatically just sued us right away because it's a freedom of speech? I mean, I'm just saying, if
Anybody can sue anybody for anything. In this particular case, the billboard would have been not compliant with zoning because of the distance from an existing one on South Airport just up the road to the east. And so, in order to comply, we would have to have them take that down or confirm if another one was taken down in the past that we're unaware of. So that's an issue. And then also, there's height restrictions. So, so right now, our goal is to work with them and get compliance to fit with our zoning. And I feel like we didn't have the opportunity to have a discussion with our
Right.
staff and them to work it out, and it kind of went to
Suit
a
it.
lawsuit relatively quickly, so.
And Chris, I'll add to that, and Molly can chime in as well, is, at the planning commission level, we've discussed this exact situation, not only with signage, but also short-term rentals and some other things where there's some real challenges being headed at the state level and in local levels at challenging ordinances. And the sign in ordinances is probably the one that's had the most challenges to it. There's a set of rules, they don't want to follow the rules, so it's real easy, we'll just sue you, My understanding and what little I know about it is there's probably three different measures that this sign wouldn't have met to be approved, so why go through the process? They had to have known that when they made the application, and that's probably why they just chose to go right to a lawsuit. So, from what I understand, I think we're handling it the right way, but it's definitely it's not the only issue that's out there that's being challenged. And we're watching. I know at the planning commission level, we talk a lot about those things because we're trying to be proactive. I mean, things like solar panels, wind generation, short-term rentals, and so on. So Molly, you can.
Yeah, in this particular case with the signs, it's an issue of court, not an issue of legislature. The legislature isn't saying you have to do this, this, and this. The court system, a lot of people got sued, and they went through the courts, and the court system now, that's why the planning commission is looking closely at how to do that. I mean, what's informational and what's even political signs, people have the right to leave those up all the time. Well, most communities have some rules about so many days before an election, so many days after. You may not be able to do those things again. And what is an informational sign in the front of your yard and, what is. So all of those things have to be hammered out, and we couldn't find, a good recipe for how to fix that. We couldn't find somebody else who already did it, that we've done it, I don't know what you guys do out in Blair, but, so more to come on it. So far, the courts are pretty much saying, you got freedom of speech, you can put whatever you want there, but we can limit size, and therefore we should be able to limit those, so, but you can't have, okay, this is my kid's graduating from high school, I'm putting a sign in my front yard, is that the same as Molly Agustinelli running for trustee? It's not really the same, but what are the rules around it? So the planning commission is struggling with it too.
For quite a while. Been dealing with
Yeah.
it quite a while, so.
Well, the biggest thing I want you to know is I'm working with the zoning administrator, planning director, and council to resolve this as quick as we can. So if there's another reason to educate you on something short of a resolution or a settlement agreement approval, I'll bring it back to you.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for now, and like I said, in the future, I'll continue to update you on the things that you tell me is important. And I guess if anybody has questions.
I was just hoping that maybe you could put your reports in writing, because I like that to reference back to instead of having to watch the meeting or try to remember. Plus, this is a new position for you. So I feel like it would be good for us to have a kind of a record of what you've been up to and what you've been doing. Not that you have to tell us everything, but
Yeah.
I don't know if the rest of the board would like that, but
That's good.
I think it's a good idea.
I prefer reports in writing, and even if supervisors report, if you want to do it in writing, I always think that's good, so we
Okay.
can reference back to it.
I
If
don't
you're
have much
okay with
tonight,
that.
but I can say he cleaned his office and I had to take him a week. Sure. I saw the before and the after. I'm pretty impressed with it, so.
No, I
So,
think it's a good idea with the writing.
so John Syke, he does a little summary of all the projects and where they're at, something similar like.
That would be nice.
Okay.
Well, you've even seen the Parks and Rec one. I mean, the parks, how they do it too. It's just letting us know each individual thing.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah, it'll take me some time and experience to
No, we want it
learn what's
yesterday.
important to you, so that way I'm not wasting your time putting
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't matter to you. So,
But it's nice to be kept abreast of what's going on.
anybody interested in pictures and stuff like that?
Sure.
But you know, Parks does it in the large type.
That large.
The large font?
We don't have to have that.
Chalkboard font 16 size, right?
Fill up some more paper.
All right. Is that all you had, Chris?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I don't know, did Chuck submit reports or not?
He just
Did it
He didn't
verbally.
submit, he just talked.
verbally.
Okay.
I always wish that he had done it in writing, though.
No, I don't disagree with you, and it would be a good process to make notes. I just have a couple of comments more than a report tonight, so, and I've mentioned this probably more than I need to over and over, but, I really feel like we're redefining things. We're redefining this role. Chris is, defining the new manager's role, and I think we've really taken some big steps in the township to get us, more efficient and more up to date. I love Chris's attitude about keeping this board informed. I think that's really important, and transparency and keeping us up to date is really important. There's 6 right now, but there's 7 votes. We're all equal votes. This vote has no more than that vote does. So, as far as power goes, so let's keep everybody informed on that. So, and I know this is a part-time job now, but it's a very relevant job still, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand that it's still a supervisor's position, for whatever that ends up meaning. So, I'm available, and ask me things. I'll lean on Chris a lot because Chris is going to be handling the day-to-day stuff. But our plan is to meet every 2 weeks and finalize the agenda for these meetings. So that's planned like on a Thursday afternoon kind of a situation. So we'll anything you want, kind of the same process now that Karen, I think, sends out and requests topics for the agenda that you guys might want to put on there and those type of things. I won't always be able to do that because I'm still currently working full-time elsewhere, but that's kind of the plan. So the only other comment I had is it came up, it's at another, and previously when I was in other boards, but, we have the consent calendar and then removing items from the consent calendar. I don't know if it happens a lot, but if you read the consent calendar in their packet and there's something you really have a question about and want to remove, that's great, but maybe give us a heads up. Whoever's department is going to need to provide you that answer. Let's give them a heads up so we can not put somebody on the spot. Say, hey, I got a real question about this bill. Let's give, Chloe or Laney or whoever, or Chris, a chance to prepare for that so we can, not leave that hanging and have to, readdress it later on as well. So it's just something that I was thinking of earlier. So that's about all I had. No, nothing written and nothing formal tonight, but excited. I feel outnumbered. 5-1. I don't know if anybody noticed the. Yeah. I don't know.
County board, too.
Didn't really hit me till I just looked across here and I said, "Wow, okay." So welcome to everyone, and looking forward to it, and really am. So. Yeah.
Yes, there's the audience.
Wait a minute, Chris. We are really in the room.
We're in trouble.
Okay, so that's all I had. So we'll move on to unfinished business. I don't see anything under unfinished business at this point. So we'll move on to some new business. Again, I'm back on the agenda. Consideration of accepting a letter of resignation from Joe McManus from the Planning Commission and Joint Planning Commission. Our township ordinance, not a state ordinance, but our township ordinance does not allow the supervisor to be on the Planning Commission. So I am resigning my position on the planning commission, and because I'm not going to be on the planning commission, then my joint planning commission position is also being vacated. So I think we need to act relatively quickly on, getting that position filled. So I think we have a couple of applications. Maybe we can address that. I know we're going to be addressing some other appointees. Maybe at the December 10th, if we have a couple applications, we can look at those, get with John, and let's get that filled. So I've enjoyed immensely my years and years on the planning commission. It's been a lot of fun and very informative, and good way to keep up on what's going on in the township. So I'd encourage anybody to apply that wants to be on the planning commission. So
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Joe McManus from the Township City Joint Planning Commission and the Township Planning Commission.
motion made and supported to accept my letter of resignation. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. All right. Denise added item B, the extension of Molly Augustinelli's term on the Planning Commission to go through the end of the year, December 31st.
Yeah, presently, that's the only one on our committees that's done on November 20th. And due to the fact that we're in a situation that we still need to appoint another trustee, we have not appointed any actually committees, because we don't really need to do that till the January 1st, that's when it'll come into effect. But I would like to make a motion that we extend Molly's Planning Commission till December 31st of this year, until all the other appointments to the new appointments are done.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported to extend Molly Augustinelli's term on the Planning Commission that previously expired on November 20th to extend through December 31st, 2024. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now you have to go to that next meeting down here.
I do.
All right. We are back to public comment, our second public comment of the evening. So again, if you have anything you'd like to say, step up to the microphone and let us have it. Oh,
I don't have a report tonight,
Yeah.
but I do put it in writing, once a month. Jennifer Graham, Gordy Frazier, and most of you obviously know me, township engineer, but congratulations Supervisor McManus and Trustee Lapp and Manager Barchef. I very much look forward to working with all of you. And no, most of you know me. I guess, Lori, for your purposes, I've been with Gordy Frazier for 20 years. And for that entire 20 years, I've had the pleasure to work with Garfield Township in some capacity. And now I'm your primary point of contact. I generally come to one meeting a month, if not more. A lot of times I just get called staff. I'm at the township a lot. But the goal, and I hope most of you will agree with this, my intentions are always to be a resource. It historically started out having a very extensive knowledge and working base of the water and sewer system, and since then, over the last few years, it's definitely evolved, and it's been a pleasure to work with you guys on miscellaneous grants, park projects, planning projects, meeting with your planning department frequently, your zoning department, clerk, treasurer, in any capacity. Amy with special assessment districts. So really, it's definitely evolved, and I've truly enjoyed working with you guys, and I know it's hard to say, but I probably have another 20 years just looking at the numbers. But no, so as things evolve, Chris and I definitely have dove in headfirst into a lot of things, and biting off an elephant. And so we have some big challenges ahead of us, some very exciting opportunities ahead of us too. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate those of you that are new in your roles, and look forward to working with you, and congratulations to those of you that got reappointed again. And I'm very excited. And yes, the
estrogen levels are very high.
I was trying to think of an appropriate way to word it. Yes, I know. And so that part I'm very excited for too. Because like-minded in some regards. So anyway, you guys always have my contact information, so feel free to give me a call about anything that you have questions about, and always strive for transparency, absolutely. So anyway.
Thanks, Jennifer. You're a great asset to us. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So thank you.
40 is possible, Jennifer. I made 40, so I know you can make 40.
And if it's any consolation, We are closing on our, and I can make this public record now, that we're very excited to finally be a business owner in Garfield Township. Myself personally, an owner invested in Garfield Township, and we'll be moving later. We're speculating for July move-in date. And so we are finalizing our closing of our office building, which is very exciting and was part of our objective, is to have our business in a township that we enjoy working with and continue that relationship. So
Great.
that's very exciting too for
Where?
the old Girl Scout building. That is it Value City? Is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
Yeah, off of Park Drive,
Park Drive
Ocala.
and there's
Yeah.
Oh, I could just throw a stone.
nice setting in there. It's a very nice setting and.
We're very excited, yeah. And, no, it's going to be a nice building for us, and we're going to start, we close this next month and working with a contractor architect, so county building, or actually Garfield Township permitting process, working with Carl and his team on some of that to do some renovations. So, no, I am personally beyond excited to be in Garfield Township.
Property taxes be a little lower.
And I can say this publicly too, and not be in the city of Traverse City. So, very excited for that as well. So,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you.
Good, thanks Jennifer, appreciate it. Anybody else have any public comment? And again, nobody's running up, so we're gonna go ahead and close public comment, moved on to other business. I don't see any other business. Do we need to do any action or notice on we got a couple of potential special meetings, or just notice those as we?
They got to be done within 18 days of it, so I will work with Karen and have those published and taken care of, and send everybody out invites so it lands on your calendars.
So we should
How
just,
how many days in advance?
18 hours.
18 hours, okay, I think
That's
it's 18
18
days,
days.
I'm like, we're already too late, so.
Yeah.
Learning this, okay, yeah, so we're plenty of time on it. I didn't know if we have to mention that tonight, so, okay.
I just had one
Yeah.
thing. I should have brought this up when this is on the consent calendar, but for the 2024 appointments, it doesn't look like we had highlighted that we need to replace the Building Code of Appeals and the Traverse City Rec Authority, because Steve Jewell's no longer a trustee. So I just wanted to make note that those two are both open for applications.
which one did you say, sweet?
Building Code of Appeals, we still have Steve on there, and then City of Traverse City.
He wasn't a representative.
No, he could still be on the
He
building
could still
code
be on,
'cause
he
he's a
wasn't,
builder.
he wasn't the town board representative. He was
Oh.
a citizen
So he's
at
still gonna
large.
serve on there?
He's a citizen at large.
Oh, okay.
But
What
we
about
need
the
to
rec
make sure
authority?
we
Yes, the
have
rec authority
applications for
definitely.
those.
Was that in our packet? I didn't see it.
These
Yeah,
are
it's
the-
in
Yeah,
the
it's under
packet.
the consent calendar.
But this is up to 2025, so that he has.
Oh, he's got
another-
time.
another year.
Oh, yeah.
But the rec authority, we definitely need somebody for that one.
Yeah, Rec Authority, so if you guys are interested.
I have
the
a
rec
question. Did we discuss, one of our park commissioners is now a county commissioner. Is there a conflict of interest with that?
Well, she's not going to be a county commissioner till January. We
Okay.
have a meeting in December that
Okay,
I am going to bring up at that point in time,
okay.
that I would like to see her just resign from that position rather than us say you can't be on there. So we have a meeting, I think it's December, huh? Yeah. So I think it's December, it's the first Monday in December is our Parks and Rec, so that will be brought up at that time.
This is the rec authority.
Do we know if and I'm sure they have, the folks like planning commission that are expiring, have they been notified and we got applications for them to return back? I see 2 planning commission members that are expiring on December 31st. I don't remember that coming up at our last
We
meeting.
haven't. Usually Chuck kind of checked that out ahead
Okay.
of time and contacted people, but probably now this is a,
So that's Krista Good and Robert Fudge.
Yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, I thought Karen had emailed these individuals that were expiring.
Can you check with her on that?
Yeah, I will.
Find
I'll
out.
do it first thing in the morning.
If you can take the lead on that, I'd appreciate it, because I don't know, because I know that we have a border review organizational meeting on December 10th, so I'm planning on stopping in for a few minutes on that.
Okay.
I think those board members haven't changed a lot, so I'm assuming those folks will want to return, But if you can follow up on all, there's a lot of people expiring here at the end
Yes.
of the year.
And you
so.
wanted to be on Metro, so instead of Chuck
Chuck.
Warren,
Right.
Joe's gonna be.
Yeah, if you have any questions about what the boards are, you can ask Lainey and I, or Chris, and we can kind of go over it with you, if you want to know more about them.
I wouldn't be surprised if Karen has some correspondence, because I talked to her about 3 weeks ago about this, knowing that we had to get this figured out, and she was going to reach out, and maybe she just hasn't given me that information to pass along.
Yeah, but if she was going to be reaching out to everyone that expired, I didn't get anything. Molly, did you get anything? No. So.
Yeah, it would make sense that you would have gotten that communication as well, right?
Right.
Okay. I'll meet with her in the morning and make sure we get it sorted out.
Perfect.
No, I didn't see, and I could look past it. BPW is not listed on here, but that's probably not a committee.
No, it's not.
That's automatic appointment for the,
Yeah.
so I'll be on. Jennifer, you go to those? Make sure you save the seat next to me so you can educate me, please, 'cause I. I'm here too. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of them that are.
She goes with all those hats she wears for us, see?
Yes, oh, I know. And I mean, I see a lot of them because a lot of these will be taken care of when we do our own board appointments, the one. But there's a lot of openings because with Steve not being here, and then like, for example, there's one of them, there's two, the Personnel Committee, there'd be 2 openings on that.
Right.
So, thanks, I appreciate that. I was kind of hoping to get that, so. Okay. Any other business to come before the board this evening? Hearing none, we'll stand adjourned.